Yes.
Okay. Well, what an honor it is to be here. I had so much emotion from everyone on the screen and, seeing familiar faces. What an honor it is to be on the line just to connect with the community. And thank you, everyone, for your warm welcome. Super excited to talk about this mission that Joshway is on. I am mindful of time, Erica. I think I have about, what, 30 minutes? Beautiful. Okay, because there's a lot to unpack here. So I figured putting a PowerPoint together will give us some visuals and we'll kind of bring it all together. But yeah, Joshua, we're about a year old. So as we go through this slide, I think that's important to keep in mind. We are full of energy, passion. We love to think different. We love to just really be of service to the community, to the youth, and so everything you're going to see today is just a reflection of what we've done for about the year and then where we want to go next. But about we just dive right in, and I'll start with introduction. David Robertson, founder of Joshway. Jen Perez, who should be joining us. She got caught up in the outage out in Easton, so she's going to be joining us. But basically, I'm here to talk about Joshway. And if you haven't read our story in the Lehigh Valley Style magazine, or if you haven't seen our content video, Josh Way was actually named after my little brother, Joshua Robertson. In 2021, Josh, he passed away due to a lot of modern day challenges that the youth is facing today. I grew up in the South, and I've always had a passion for the youth. Really always felt like I had a servant's heart. So after, 2021, obviously with grief, and you're wondering, how do you respond? Well, life responded in a very simple way for me anyway, was by way of a dream. And I'll summarize that dream for you, and I think it will set the tone for pretty much everything that I hope you see and enjoy throughout this presentation. So I grew up in Houston. My parents moved out of Houston to Oklahoma when I was about 5 years old. I have three brothers. I have a half sister, but three brothers: Mark, myself, and Josh was the youngest. My parents split when we were young. Josh was just a little guy at the time, and my mom ended up moving back to Houston. So we would always go back to Houston every summer. My brother, my oldest brother, Mark, me, and Josh. But we would always stay with my grandfather. Well, why? Well, he was a barbecue pitmaster. So we just loved hickory smoked barbecue. We love it. It was just, a great time to get back to Houston and see the family. So my grandfather would always call my little brother a certain name: Joshway, Joshway, what are you doing? Come in here. So that name, little did I know, would be the cornerstone of our mission. Matter of fact, the name itself. So in this dream, it happened November the 28th, 2022, where I was back in Texas in the living room, in the kitchen, with my grandfather, who was standing in the kitchen holding a tray of barbecue. And I remember it vividly that he was holding his tray of barbecue and he began to scream out, "Joshway, come in here, it's time to eat. Joshway, come in here, it's time to eat." And in that dream, that name Joshway started to loop. Joshway, Joshway. Josh's way was to live his life through. He was an artist. He was an amazing basketball player. He loved sports. But because he had a lot of modern day challenges and didn't have the right support structure, Josh fell short of his way. Josh way is a higher calling. It's to dare to do big things. I can see the youth saying, "Hey, my friend, how do you Josh way? Whether I'm a doctor, I want to be a lawyer." So when that connected, I really was pulled to that name, especially it coming from a loved one, where you were super excited. So then you started to look at the timing of that dream, and I saw just another beautiful timing of that dream, and it was time to start our mission. So it happened November the 28th, 2022. If you look at the year, that's four numbers, and if you add up the twos, it's actually six. And April the 6th, 1989 is when Josh was born. I was born in November, hence the 11, and then the 28th is 10, and 6 and 4 is 10. And so when you start to see everything start to dovetail, you really start to see there was something special happening. And so then you go online, wait, Joshway.org, and it was available. Like, what? In a big world like this? So we registered that name. So that's the why behind our mission, for Josh to live on, because there's so many youth out there that is facing the same challenges as Josh. Matter of fact, I just wanted to draw your attention to what I had to look at. Josh fell, looked at what's happening with our youth today, and my mind is blown how big this problem is. So if you may know these stats, but if you don't, let me draw your attention to what's happening with our youth today. 1 in 5 children in the US is living with some sort of mental illness. 50% of mental illness begins around age 14. And then at the bottom, what a sad number. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for ages 10 to 14. So as I start to look, we have the heart, it's time to move. There is a problem, and we need to put our hats in the ring to solve it. Be those bold warriors to the young people like Josh and his story. And we focused around adolescence. I think that's a very important age, between the ages of 12 to 17, because that's where the youth is really starting to evolve into hopefully bright young stars, but they need the right support structure. They need the right support, the leaders, and the life skills, as I would say. And so we chose that adolescence portion to start our mission. So getting up to after that, last year, we started moving. So I went to some of my friends and I expressed that I wanted to do something to help the youth, the community. And within about a month or two, this 9-member board team was founded. A lot of us, we've worked together for many years. Matter of fact, if you put all of our skill sets together, we got over 100+ years of business and financial technology experience. And I've worked with pretty much everyone on this, or worked or known each one of these individuals for probably over 15 years, if not longer. So we are a strong group from the foundation when it comes to board members and leaders. So this is our 9-member board team that said, David, I'll go with you to help make a difference for the youth. So what is Joshway? So we talked about why Joshway and who Josh was. Well, Joshway, we were founded in 2023, and we're dedicated to empowering the youth from underserved and traditional communities to overcome barriers related to mental health, familial, and economic circumstances. We provide resources and opportunities aimed at growth and success through educational workshops. What I love is we're based right here in the Lehigh Valley, which if you ever want to start a nonprofit and if you have a passionate heart, the Valley, their support has been so overwhelming. It's sometimes hard to put into words, but I take pride that we're right here in the Valley to do great things. And so for that, we now want to look at fostering resilience and unlocking potential in our community and really being that North Star. I'm the founder, and also, my passion for this is through my loss of my little brother, really just trying to embrace and trying to help the next Josh that may be out there. And so all that being said, I wanted to just start with a quick story real quick to help you get into our mission and how we're going about executing that. I love space travel. I pay attention to SpaceX and NASA, but our inspiration lies in this slide. About in 2020, NASA launched a probe called Perseverance to Mars. And if you ever seen what that looks like, there's this rover that descends down, and instead of a hard crash, a parachute opens up that creates a soft landing. To the right is that parachute. And in that parachute lied a hidden message that was actually inspired by Teddy Roosevelt, a speech by him. Now you may be looking at that parachute to the right and he says, David, that doesn't really look like a parachute. it looks incomplete. As a matter of fact, it seems like there's some gaps missing. And if you're saying that in that parachute to the right, you're absolutely right. There are gaps missing to unlock that powerful message that Ian Clark decoded in that parachute. Would you like to see what this picture looks like with the gaps filled? Awesome. When you fill the gaps of that parachute, it unlocked a message and it said, "Dare mighty things." And that is exactly what Joshway is looking to do with the communities that we are looking to work with. So what that means is we didn't want to start our own community. Why would we do that when there's so many amazing communities out there? In my 1 year touring the entire valley, working in different communities, I did see gaps. I did see opportunities not being taken advantage of. And for every gap unfilled is a missed opportunity to the youth. But if we fill those gaps, we can dare mighty things in those communities, and those youth can also believe that they can do awesome stuff. So what is Joshway doing? We're going into communities that exist and we're helping them fill those gaps. And we're not just going in and talking a big talk or trying to be different. We're trying to be visionary. We're trying to take different gaps, look at them, and build an experience where kids are inspired by motivation, by believing in themselves that they can be the next leaders. So through transformative workshops and programs, that's how we're going in to each community if there's a gap unfilled. So what is a gap? So at the bottom, you'll see that there's financial literacy, there's youth public speaking, there's mindfulness, substance abuse education, career path, Joshway experiences. These are the pillars or gaps we look for. Financial literacy is huge. Now, one would say, well, why these, David? Why did you pick these individual pillars or these gaps? Well, when I looked at Josh and I studied his life, and I said, man, if that kid just had financial literacy, or he could speak, that dynamic voice and regulate his emotions, maybe things would be a lot different. So as you can see, these came from what I saw Josh struggling with, but then I looked back and I said, wow, a lot of youth are actually struggling with this. And so that's what we've been doing. This is how we go about executing our mission, going into those communities, filling those gaps by some transformative workshops, and just really baking an experience around it. So with that being said, so what have we done? What have we been up to for a year? Well, while we're in the building phase, we believe that we should be doing something. We can build, but we can also be of service. So the very first thing we did last year, we hosted a business fair. We collaborated with a group called Nanny Loft. And when we got to Delia's her name, we realized that this is an amazing opportunity for kids to bring their entrepreneurship. Delia said, I am not actually going to do it this year because I don't have resources. So we took off our Joshway hat and we became a support pillar to Delia, helped her quarterback this event so that these kids could come together like you see on the picture. We're passionate about financial literacy. So what we did before this event, we did a lunch and learn using Members First financial literacy program to teach the youth about the ABCs of financial literacy. And so that was a really cool event to see these young artists come together, and we're planning on doing that again this year. This was probably one of the best events so far to date. We did this year. When we talked about Joshway, yes, there's courses of financial literacy, but we like to have fun, like to put the youth in some best-in-class experiences like you're seeing on this picture is dynamic. They're actually was so inspired by this day that we came together at ABE in a hangar with a really cool backdrop that you're seeing. And Joshway is all about collaboration. So when we set the scene, that's what we did. We had the vision. Then we called to 2 communities that we're working with. And we said, we want you to bring X number of of your youth, bring them to the hangar. And we have connections to an amazing pilot. Her name is Nilofer. Her story is she was the first female pilot from Afghanistan. to kind of to believe that she could be a pilot, um, was not only accomplished that mission, but was also able to have a key role in defeating ISIS and being recognized by the Obama administration and also the Trump administration. She wrote a book. We sent a phone call or an email. Nilofer flew up and spoke to the kids, and the response was amazing. That each one was engaged and talking and asking questions on, Nilofer, how did you do it in the mindset? But just to put that day together, it was amazing because as I looked over the audience, I didn't see one community. I saw a variety of communities standing together, even a talented violinist from the El Sistema community, so that we can honor our flag and our country before we got the day started. That's a Joshway experience, and you betcha we're going to do hundreds of these, as much as we can anyway. Another thing that we were passionate about, Northampton Community College, I just love everything that they stand for, from their culinary school, from the affordable courses online across the world, housing, their fab lab. So when I met Dave Ruth and Denise Smith, I was like, we gotta have a Joshway scholarship. It was a pillar to tell a young person, hey, you can go to college. And if we could have a scholarship for them to apply for, and if we could play a role in that, that's a legacy that we wanted to have under our belt. So in 4 months, somehow we shook every tree and we found $25,000 to complete that scholarship as of today. And we'll start to drip out social media updates about this. This was something that I personally wanted to do for my 40th birthday. Maybe that's why we got that funding so quickly, but it was a goal set and a goal met. So now we do have a Joshway scholarship with Northampton Community College. Thinking about sponsorships, as Erica was saying, we're like all in the community. Think of us as like a string that we are like zigzagging in Valley Youth House, El Sistema, Boys and Girls Clubs, Easton. And as we're in there, sometimes we uncover an opportunity where, for example, El Sistema, we find that there's a young person that wants to take their course, but they can't afford it. So I said to the El Sistema team, Lucy, I said, Lucy, wait, you got someone that wants to do this and they can't afford it? I said, well, how much does that cost? She said about $2,000 to get a young artist through their rails. So we found that money, and that's Joshway on stage presenting a check to El Sistema so that one amazing young artist can be part of this amazing program. That happened about 2 months, or last month, we completed this initiative. What I love about some of our concepts is we always look for ways to empower the youth. And what you're seeing here is, yes, we believe in education. Yes, we love technology. Yes, we love arts. So this is championed some of our technology opportunities where we have an online shop. And this young artist, Sage, she's 5 years old. We met Sage in our touring around the Valley. And I was like, Sage, you're 5 years old and you make bracelets? Like, what? How cool are you? Like, would you make us a Joshway Moon Man bracelet? And our parents, Trey and Gracie, was like, sure. And with our technology, basically we push this product online. So when anyone buys this bracelet, the family gets an email alert. They fulfill that order, and they're now able to ship young Sage's bracelets beyond the Lehigh Valley. So far, her bracelet has hit California, Arizona, Oklahoma, and Florida. And to see her bracelets go all over the world, and if you've seen my article in Lehigh Valley Style, I want everyone rocking that bracelet. Such a cool artist. In the lower left-hand corner, you'll notice there's another design where we also have the ability to take a design from an artist. So let's say a young artist has a JPEG image, use Canva, something simple. We have the means to take that art and put it on a shirt, and that shirt can be sold online. And anytime that there's a sale, there's a small proceed that goes back to that young artist to show them that your creativity is not just cool, but we can actually put it on a swag, and then your family and friends, no matter where they live, can champion your design. Like, how cool is that? And so we're using our understanding of technology to champion these young artists so that they can get their beautiful designs out of their heads to some sort of a design, and then let's get it onto merchandise or jewelry. So these two artists are doing really great with that program. Skipping over to like brand awareness. Now, this is when things get really cool. The number one challenge for a nonprofit, I've learned this very quickly, is that uh, who's this Joshway people? Like another nonprofit, what are they about now? So we needed to address that problem ASAP. And boy, did we shake the valley with the helps of Lehigh Valley Style, Adams, as you've seen our billboards. It was just, it's been a beautiful month for us this year. And I can't wait to show you some of the results of our campaign. So Lehigh Valley Style, this is our article in the May edition. It's out there. Hopefully you had a chance to read the story. If not, it's also online. But this was a really an awesome project that we completed with the Lehigh Valley Style team. Here are those billboards that everyone keeps seeing around the valley. But this was really dynamic when we got to work with Adams and Tony and the team, and our marketing team sat down with them. What was awesome about this project was like, when you get to the root of what we're trying to solve, it is a dark subject. But I hope maybe you see these billboards or you get to know us. You're like, wow, they have such an awesome outlook on life. They're full of life, energy, positivity. And that's exactly what was the essence of this campaign. Let's not put the daunting stats of fentanyl. There's a lot of those. When will the light shine for the kiddos? And out of that campaign, we purposely used our brand guidelines. We purposely used the imagery that you see to see these kids full of life, you know, in their Joshway, if I could say it that way. Now, what was special about this project, and I promise you, we did not time this. We actually did this campaign prior to what I'm about to show you next. So Thursday night, a couple months ago, Tony calls me, he says, David, I saw my first digital billboard. And that was his way of saying, hey, we're live, we're ready to go. The very next day, do you know what happened? The Northern Lights happened. Let me remind you what that looks like. So everything around that picture is the Northern Lights. In the lower right-hand corner, is that our brand guidelines matching the Northern Lights? There's something so powerful and amazing about our project, not just because of what we're trying to solve or how we believe that 1+1 is a bigger number, but it's really encouraging us that what we're doing and how we're going about it, we're on the right track. So we take little signs like this, we acknowledge it, we smile, and we keep running at our mission. I just wanted to kind of champion this really awesome timing of that billboard campaign and the results of that campaign. So this is what happened with our brand. All year, we're going from year to date. You'll see that our users are 1.8. Our events are up. Right around here, I called Tony. I said, Tony, you created Mount Everest on our dashboard, our data. So our numbers are trending really nicely right now. People are paying attention to us, wondering who we are, how can we help? Our social media presence, I just took Instagram and LinkedIn. You'll see how these stats are just amazing. Our impressions are there. By all means, not in a sense of boasting, but just with humility to see these numbers, speechless. And we're very grateful that there's so many people watching our story and wanting to know what we're up to. So our social media brand health and our website brand health is looking really nice right now. So last thing, a couple things here, our current projects. As I mentioned, we go into communities and try to assist and help fill gaps. These are the communities that we're currently engaged in. Valley Youth House, Kindness Project, Teamworks, El Sistema, and there's a few others that we're tracking right now, but these are the 6 that I'm happy to present to you today. So what are we up to right now? Current projects. Toastmasters for the Youth. We're currently working with El Sistema to integrate our very first Toastmasters program. Now, any of the things that you're seeing on the screen, like Toastmasters or financial literacy, think of us as facilitators. So Toastmasters, well-known program. So how do we go about executing? Is that we sit in the middle of Toastmasters and El Sistema as project managers, facilitators, to make sure that when we integrate a program, it's done where there is a standard way of integrating, that it's repeatable and scalable. And that was a problem that I saw when I was tracking through the Valley. It's yes, we want to teach financial literacy. Yes, we want to do Toastmasters. But if the execution is not done carefully, yeah, maybe we'll do it once this year, but then next year it's like we're starting all over. I am an operational guy. I love standard operating procedures. So when we do integrate this into a community, we make sure that there's a cadence that can be followed every month or every week or every year. Because when you set it up that way, then that means you can get to more kids. It's like a revolving door where you're educating, empowering, and every kid is getting an opportunity because there's a standard way of addressing these curriculums. So we're doing that with Toastmasters. We're doing that with El Sistema for both the Toastmasters youth program and financial literacy. Another thing is we love Joshway experiences. We're in the process of doing a lab experience with the Apple Store. Actually, we have our first one next week. We want to do more hangar events that, like you saw earlier, and every other opportunity as we find them, we want to put an experience together. And it's really cool. The way we're positioned is once the scene is set, I send an email to all those logos and saying, come one, come all. We have an awesome experience that we would love to showcase to the youth. One I'm really proud about is, hey, we want to give back to the community as well. We want to do our own art projects like the billboards. So that building that you see at the bottom, I believe it's on like a 10th or 11th and Turner. It's right around downtown Allentown. That building is waiting for our Joshway mural. We have the building, we have the artist, and once we're done with that project, just like that billboard, it will reflect positivity. It will inspiration and light. So we want to do our own murals, the Joshway. So we are tracking that project as well. So what's next for us? You may wonder, like, David, I heard you say you're sitting in the middle of all these communities, helping them integrate Toastmasters for the youth, integrate financial literacy. And I'm dropping, I think, a lot of nuggets, a lot of awesome visionary ideas. Well, our goal is to not hold it in. Let's put it all into a book where we can produce this book and be the example, not just in the Valley, but all over the world. And we're taking a crack at this right now, starting with financial literacy, where when you have your hands on one of our Joshway workbooks, or to the right, it's in an iPad form. It's not just financial literacy, but it's an experience. It's page 1 talks about welcome to Joshway. Page 2, it's a story from an influencer, someone that's well known, a celebrity or a sports figure that tells their story, provoking the kiddo to change turn the page, then go through the literacy course. But not just there, let's give the youth direction. I joke with the team and say, hey, let's be the Tony Robbins to these kids and not just give them information, but let's give them an experience. So there's a lot of vision around this workbook. This is how we're looking to scale and go beyond the Valley, because if you're thinking, Dave, you can't sit in front of every community and do that work, you're correct. But the Valley can be our base camp, where we are working hands-on with the communities only to make sure that we're producing the best-in-class product. And when it's there, then we want the world to get their hands on the Joshway book. And if they follow it bit by bit, great. Or if they want to make it their own, great. But let's just be a North Star to not just the youth, but the communities, because we really need them to reach the kids and get this information to them. So this is probably our biggest project moving forward of how we're looking to scale and really get the Joshway brand beyond the Valley. Last couple of slides here, just a little financial snapshot. Keep in mind, as I go through this, many ways we're like Silicon Valley, startups, eating ramen noodles and soda crackers and water. we're hustling, trying to get to that next phase to get the financial support so that we can keep doing bigger and better things. So what does that look like? Last year, we were able to, well, since birth, I would say, so we're about over a year old, we were able to raise about $70,000. And out of that $70,000, we put 28,500 of that to some sort of a scholarship, including the including the NCC scholarship. And so that's so $28,000 went to that bucket. Our marketing costs, we did about 14,000. Now this includes our startup costs, our websites, our brand guidelines, and all the things that I wasn't aware of when starting a company. There's a lot of that in there. So that was a lot of our startup costs from a marketing perspective. About 14,000 of that went there. And then our operational costs, we believe in working lean. So there's a lot of automation that we take advantage of. We use best in class, CRMs like Zoho. It's similar to Salesforce, just much easier and way less expensive, so that we're keeping track of data. So our reporting is not crunching Google Sheets, but it's on a push of a button. We're able to push out reporting because, again, we want to spend more time on our mission, less time doing operational tasks. And right now, about 19K we still have on reserve because we don't want to run out of gas and have to turn out the lights. So we're really just trying to take our time and see where do we go next until we can find the right, support pillar to help us parallel to that next level. So here's a little snapshot of where that cash flow looks like. And so if anyone ever was thinking, it's like, okay, David, this was great, and this is our last slide here. I try to put things in 4 buckets of how we would utilize any support that we would get. Our general mission, using that to keep the lights on, close gaps, get out there and do our primary mission, which is, again, closing those gaps. And then Joshway experiences, like these events are really awesome. These experiences are cool, like the hangar. When we do it, it really costs us little to nothing because we're asking the individuals that we're partnering with to, sponsor something. For example, the hangar, they gave us the space. Maybe they bought some books from Neelifer. But I want to do something even better for the kids. I could see every kid, every time we do this event, having a Joshway shirt like you see here, and maybe a bracelet, giving them something to wear and say, yeah, I'm part of the Joshway experience. And so I want to elevate those Joshway experiences, starting with like maybe Joshway t-shirts, bracelets, something like that. The other one is the youth scholarship program. We have it with Northampton Community College. I want to keep adding to that. It is an endowment. And so that 25,000 sits there, and we want to keep growing it so we can get to more kiddos. So it is on our heart to keep adding to that over the year. And then obviously, if there's an opportunity when we're walking or working in a neighborhood, in a community, and I like El Sistema, there's a child or a youth that wants to take a program, just really would love to have that funding there to make sure that every kid is getting an opportunity in an arts program. And then that mural project that I was talking about, to get that going, I think it's about an $18,000 project. So these were just 4 buckets that we put out there on where we're focusing at. And as a 1-year-old company, I'll be first to say, we don't know everything. We're still learning. We are students. We love feedback. We love anyone that's willing to help us. We don't claim that we know it all. We just want to do like really awesome things for the community and to the kids. So I ran through that. Hopefully it wasn't too fast. I hope I didn't go too long. I hope you enjoyed this journey with us. And yeah, Erica, I think I'm done. But thank you so much, everyone, for your time and just wanting to know what we're up to.